Hey, this is Future Go-Kart Spartan. I've come back from my trip. And where we last left off, we were on the Christmas episode. On the episode prior to that, when Athena basically got destroyed by Madara, and she had to go to the bottom of the ocean with Poseidon so she can get recovered by Qyburn. Oh, and for reference, context, the reason why Qyburn is able to be in multiple places is because he can teleport, him and Athena. The villains, they can teleport throughout the entire galaxy for the most part. Almost anywhere, not exactly anywhere. Some places they actually gotta go because there's like barriers to some worlds, like J-Tech City. J-Tech City is well protected, but at the same time they still do have monster attacks at times because there are certain breaches, but for the most part it's well protected. But some of the other worlds are and aren't, which is why military is being deployed now, and the Rangers, they gotta deal with whatever threats that are at large right now, essentially. In the Christmas special, Calypso and Santa Claus basically speak, because since the multiverse is a thing and Santa Claus is multiversal, essentially, like the multiverse is so big that there's sections of it. So this entire section of the multiverse that encapsulates universe 0069X, Santa Claus needs Calypso's help for that. There's universes that exist outside of 0069X, like universe 2017, where the 2017 Rangers come from, as well as there's other teams that's there still working on the kinks on these teams. There's a reverse Gokaiger team where they're Marines instead of pirates. Got the idea from One Piece. I wonder how like a Marine-centered Sentai team would do. And but with Calypso and Santa Claus, they knew each other because after Calypso destroyed the gods in that reset, her and Santa kind of became friends because like she was essentially the god of that realm. So Santa Claus served under her at one point, so he remembers her from that lifetime and various other lifetimes in which she did serve under her, because there was lifetimes where she was the god of everything, but there's also lifetime where she was just a normal human. The same would go for Mavis and Rihanna and Madara, Littlefinger, and Xemnas as well, and the other characters within the Flawless Military. They all have past lives, and there's different variants. That's why we're on the 67th universe, because there's literally 66 universes that take place before this in the resets, and aside from that, the larger multiverse as a whole has some resets and universes. It's huge, it's big, and trust me, I will map this all out as we go along. But basically, yeah, Santa Claus need help, but there's a lot of people doing that, and the elves kind of got poisoned because the Galactic Crash Outs, these niggas is heedless, bro. They attack almost everything just to gain even the slightest of advantage. And Darkonda was sent to deal with Santa Claus, and Darkonda's one of the most dangerous people to send. He's one of the most dangerous Galactic Crash Outs there is, because if you read the comic books, Darkonda is far worse than he ever was in the show. Like, he already gets off on kidnapping people and just being evil in general. But no, in the comic books, this man infests entire planets and turns them into Virillian bugs, and basically has the people, makes a war amongst themselves. He's incredibly thorough. And honestly, he did that to Rihanna's planet. He goes to planet Nirvana, and he does that to the people and animals there. And Rihanna is a nature goddess. Her power comes from the peace and prosperity of that planet. And she's still uber powerful, but now it's destruction energy, which she doesn't necessarily know how to harness, because she doesn't really deal in darkness and stuff like that. Like Mavis and Rogexi will both kind of deal with those type of power sets. Rihanna's more natural than that. So she's going to need help, which is why she's eventually going to go with Beerus. Xemnas has been sent to basically protect that planet. He has a bunch of ranger teams there, like the Wild Force Rangers are there, and the Primal Fury Rangers are there, which is the Zyuohger team. Because him and Rihanna are basically a thing. So that's what's going on with Xemnas and Rihanna. That planet, it's still in the recovery phase. It's being helped by the Flawless Military and all the various people that's on the planet to restore the restorations of planet Nirvana. And meanwhile, Rihanna's off planet trying to harness her power in a different way. And also, she want to get her sister back because Mavis is wilding. And Rihanna, she is far removed from this Power Ranger stuff for the most part, but now she's not. Now she's in the thick of it. So she's with Rogexi. And the thing is, she doesn't necessarily want to be in the Flawless Military, because there was realms within the resets where Rihanna was also the ruler as well, and Mavis. The thing is, Rihanna doesn't. She's on some Jon Snow shit. She doesn't want all of that responsibility. She did it before, and you know, the universe went as good as it could. Each of them, all three of them, rule the universe, and the whole universe is end and began again. and they all had time to reflect on their actions and been different rulers. Rogexiel tends to make the universe incredibly a big magical system and stuff, so there's fantastical shit going on. Rogexiel's ruling. When Mavis is in charge, none of that. She strips the world of all of its magic and makes it mundane, kind of like our world, the world that we're living in. So if there were to be a god in our world, like the one that we are physically in now, if we were to equate these characters to that, Mavis would be the one here, not Rogexiel, because the way of the world is, it would more than likely be under Mavis's uncaring eye. Whereas Rihanna, she cares a lot too, but she's just a little bit more balanced. She kind of just let things play out, but she interferes a little bit more than Mavis does. And there is magic in her world as well, but it's a little bit more scarce. Mavis, basically, whenever these goddesses are in charge, Rogexiel has the highest magic and sci-fi system available. Rihanna's is medium, and Mavis is the lowest. But yeah, so back to the Christmas special. They basically give all the Christmas gifts out. And it was Madara's birthday, because Madara's birthday is on December 24th, which makes Madara a Capricorn. Alright, since we're doing zodiac signs, Lucky Vaughn is a Gemini, Rogexiel is an Aquarius, and Mavis is a Leo, and Rihanna is a Cancer. Since we're going through the zodiac signs, I guess I could do the Gravestone twins too. Both of them, since they're both twins, they're both Virgos. They're both Virgos. So essentially, but now that I just got the zodiac signs out of the way, because I am a zodiac enthusiast and stuff like that. Like me, Gokai Spartan, I'm a Gemini. I'm a Gemini. That's my zodiac sign, I'm a twin. But back to the story at large, which is why you can see why everything is so place. I'm a Gemini. That's why I have so much stuff in the story, because I can never just stick to one thing. Like I like Power Rangers, I like Game of Thrones, and I love Yu-Gi-Oh! And right now I'm locked into Yu-Gi-Oh! And whenever I get locked into a universe, I have to visit this character, especially if I haven't been there in a while. Game of Thrones, I'm always there. Like it's so recent to me that it's like I'm in Yu-Gi-Oh! Land, but like I'm still getting like messages on my phone from like Jon Snow and like Littlefinger, Daenerys, and Cersei and them. They're still like, yo, you coming back to Westeros? I'm like, don't worry, guys. Like, I'll be back. Yo, we got lemon cakes. We got lemon cakes and chicken. You better get all the chicken because I'm about to eat it all. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I gotta like play this card game with Alistair real quick. Like he's in the middle of it, and like the Domas are backseat dueling right now. Like, they're telling him all my moves and shit, and like I don't want him to know that I got skill drain set because I'm about to fuck his whole shit up. And it's just like, yeah, but you do gotta come back to Westeros. Like, you know, I'm gonna try to save the chicken for you. All right, Jon Snow, please do. But that's how it feels like whenever I visit another universe. Like I'm still like in Westeros and in the Ranger universes and stuff like that. But now for Yu-Gi-Oh! It's different because it's an experience that I lived. For Power Rangers and Game of Thrones, I watched all of that, but I physically played this card game. I went through blood, sweat, and tears in this, and it's a very primal part of my being. So it's like I gotta tap into that dude. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Every day. I used to walk around with 13 decks in my book bag because I like Organization 13 and I like Yu-Gi-Oh! And I love this game. Like I won a lot, I lost a lot, and it's just a beautiful game. Right now, I'm getting slapped in Duel Links. Like these Dark Dragoon players are annoying because I don't want to play Dark Dragoon. I don't want to. I like Ancient Gears. That's what I started with. I'm about to build a bunch of other decks once I get more cards because, you know, you gotta get points and stuff. So, yeah, they give everybody their Christmas gifts. Like, if I can remember all the characters that they're in that special, there's a couple of people there. I'm the one sleeping. Every time you see a black dude with a Pink Ranger hoodie or a One Piece hat on, that's me. That's my character. That's me. That's actually me. That's what I look like in real life. That's my character. He's there. A couple of my friends are being given gifts by the Flawless Military. Whichever one gives them the gifts is probably their favorite one. Like, for instance, Ed likes Madara, so Madara gives him a gift, and my boy Chris likes Shion, so Shion gives him a gift. So basically, yeah. Ikagen also gives a gift because, yeah, this is like Santa Claus is universal. Like, he has to give cold to all the bad guys too. All of the bad guys, even the really, really destructive, I'll blow up everything bad guys. They still gotta get Christmas gifts too, depending on like their like temperament on being evil and stuff like that. And like, if I had to equate what Santa Claus gave everybody this year, Madara got to fight him, and Madara won because he's Madara, and Santa Claus is uber powerful and stuff like that. But Madara's also been training with Rogexiel too, so Madara will be even more powerful than he was in the Naruto universe. So he would catch up to wherever the fuck Santa Claus would be at and surpass that. So Madara got to get his fight. Littlefinger probably got a little bit extra money and stuff like that, and some just information on opportunities that can widen his network. Xemnas, what would Madara give the superior of the in-between? he gave him a couple of new outfit sets and stuff like that. So Zenless got new drip that he didn't put on yet. So he got some new clothes. And like now I said that because I want to say which bad guys are getting cold and which ones aren't getting cold. Mostly all of them niggas got cold. Hikagen got cold, Madoko got cold, Scorpion got cold, Athena got cold, Mavis got cold. She didn't get cold last year because she was actually a good person last year, but she got cold this year because fucking Brandon Stark got her fucked up. Mavis was out here wilding. The thing about Mavis is, if she comes up with an idea, she's gonna commit to that shit. And since it was somebody else coming up with the idea, and she thought she was coming up with the idea, we got the worst version of what Mavis is capable of. Now let's see who else is getting cold. Xehanort is getting cold. Necrosis is getting cold. Sacrosis is getting cold. Aqua didn't get cold. Aqua actually got something for Christmas, which pissed off all the other villains because she's not evil. She's just controlled. Like, the rest of y'all, some of y'all niggas are generally ain't shit evil, I want to destroy everything ass niggas. Aqua was just put under a spell. The same would go for Ventus. Vanitas is getting fucking cold. Xigbar, he didn't get cold because the thing is, Zigbar's so low key about what he's doing, the Santa Claus don't even know that he's on demon time. So he actually got something for Christmas as well. Let's see. Most of the got characters, some of them got cold, some of them didn't. The Lannisters didn't get cold this year, surprisingly, because the Lannisters didn't do anything crazy since they got brought back to life. They're starting now because Daishi's inside Tywin, and Tywin sees opportunity in the universe. So the Lannisters are definitely starting now, but the Lannisters didn't get cold this year, which was surprised. With Joffrey was utterly fucking surprised because Joffrey gets cold every fucking year. You're like, wait, I didn't get cold this year? And that motivated Joffrey to not be a piece of shit even more, besides the medication and the constant counseling that he's getting and the positive reinforcement he's getting from his other ain't shit friends that's trying to do better. Besides all of that, but yeah, they surprisingly didn't get fucking cold this year. Daenerys didn't get cold. She didn't get anything at all, actually. Santa Claus did that shit to teach her a lesson because he didn't know where to categorize Daenerys, because Santa Claus is conflicted because Santa Claus saw season 8 and he feels exactly the same way we do, so he didn't know what to do, so he just outed to give them nothing. Because sometimes Santa Claus will do that. Sometimes Santa Claus just don't give you shit. Sometimes he misses you. Like, yeah, he tries to get everybody, but there's been a couple of years, there's been a couple of people that didn't get shit for Christmas because Santa Claus didn't have the fucking elves, and like the universe keeps on expanding and getting bigger, and it's harder for Santa Claus to get everybody their gifts. That's why he caught the flawless military this year. And okay, let's get back to the story. So Hikagen got cold, and when the Kamen Rider belts dispersed, a lot of characters got the Kamen Rider powers. The Dragon Ball Z characters got it because they're Dragon Ball Z. They're automatically worthy by default, so the drivers was made for them and shipped directly to each Dragon Ball character. This happens for a lot of characters. For the 5Ds characters, it happened too, because you see me make the new 5Ds forms. It would happen in that universe because the 5Ds universe, all of the other Yu-Gi-Oh universes that's not original Yu-Gi-Oh are far away from wherever the flawless military is and the JTech City universe is, because the original Yu-Gi-Oh universe is closer to them than the other ones. They're more on the outskirts, which the only ones that's there right now is Vrains and your 5Ds, because Golden Lord kind of murked the rest of them. Now they're in the underworld essentially. All of the inhabitants of the Zexu and the Arc 5 universe and all the other universes that the Golden Lord wiped out. So, like, it's possibility that we could get them back, kind of like how we did the Rangers, but nobody's on that type of time. But Yu-Gi-Oh works differently, so it'll probably be a different solution as to how those characters come back, if they ever do. But, more or less, Hikagen's pissed. And Hikagen got a Kamen Rider ring, because the Wizard ring was trying to find the bearer of the Kamen Rider Wizard powers, which I haven't decided who it would be. Probably Harry Potter, but I don't know how much I like Harry Potter enough to even include him in here. I do like Harry Potter, honestly, and if I was a part of a house, I think I'm Ravenclaw, but my girl says me and her are both Slytherin and stuff like that, and I'm like, but I feel like a Ravenclaw. I feel more balanced than a Slytherin, but she says, no, we're cunning folk. I'm like, alright, fine. So, I don't know. So, I feel like a Ravenclaw, but my girlfriend thinks I'm Slytherin. But more or less, Hikagen transforms into Kamen Rider Wizard. The variant, another wizard. It's the same design from the Kamen Rider Zeo series when Wizard becomes evil. It's because he has a hoop for a head. I was looking at Kamen Rider Wizards and all of their designs and stuff since I was going through the Kamen Rider. Since I was going through a Kamen Rider season, I was going to include more Kamen Rider stuff in here. I was watching Zeo, And I was looking at this creature, and I'm like, bro, that's just Ikagen with a Power Ranger suit on. And then I said, okay, let's do that. And he's gonna have even more forms than just the red one. He's gonna have the yellow, all the wizard states that Wizard used, Ikagen can do now. So yes, Ikagen is essentially Kamen Rider Wizard. Ikagen's fuck powerful. Rogexio's fuck powerful. Like, these niggas is, oh my god. They're so strong. Like, and the thing is, for Ikagen, it's like, Rogexio was like that off rip. She was like that as soon as I created her in this universe. When I first created her, her power was magnetism, essentially, because she was a member of the Organization 13 in the universe in my first Naruto The Flows Military story. But so much has changed since I developed this story. But, so I've already seen Rogexio grow from where she was and where she is now. Y'all didn't get to see that, essentially, that's why I'm creating the Calypso's Odyssey and all the other tales of Rogexio and all the other past lives of all the other characters and stuff like that. Because I developed this character from scratch since 2009. And basically, for me, she's already fully developed before I even put her to the screen. Whereas Ikagen, for me, he wasn't. He was my rage personified because of Cosmic Fury and Megaforce and all the things that disappointed me in Power Rangers. Incarnated into one creature known as Ikagen. Because Ikagen was my favorite villain in all the Sentai. Because he lasted for 6 episodes. Every time he showed up, he put belt to ass. Him and his wife. They both put belt to ass every time they showed up. And when they beat him, it was some Naruto shit that they beat him with and then they jumped him. But Ikagen put 11 Power Rangers on their ass. 11. 11. There's usually 6 Power Rangers. Usually just 6. This nigga bodied 11 of them. And then on top of that, they has the reputation of killing thousands of planets and thousands of solar systems. Him and Madoko. I didn't make him this broken. Sentai did. I just added more to him because I love the character and I hated what Cosmic Fury did. They created Inkwork. And the thing is, watching Cosmic Fury over and over again, even their characters grow on me. I like Bajillionaire, I like Inkworth. I just don't like them that much. But I like them enough to have them have relevant roles in this story because I feel like both of those characters' storyline was great, and both of those could have been, well, not Inkworth, but for Bajillionaire, she was a great villain in my opinion, bro. She wanted to do what the Rangers did, but evil. She said, you know what? That's a nice thing y'all got with the Z-Wave. Beautiful. Can it be evil, though? Could we reverse the polarities on the Z-Wave and kill all y'all niggas instead? That's a fire-ass plan. And y'all beat it with words. Y'all gave Lord Zed. Lord Zed showed up, dripped up from head to toe. Head to toe, Lord Zed had a new form, bro. He was blasting Z's on top of mountains and stuff. And y'all don't give him a final battle. Ali didn't even get the fight. Bro. Ali just transformed into his Blue Ranger cosmic form, and he did not even really get the scrap like that, bro. We didn't get to see Ali scrap. Like, bro, like 10 episodes. Oh my god, don't ever do that again, Power Rangers. 10 episodes. Please give us 20. Y'all needed more time to map out these Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. Like, we needed more time to see Fern and Izzy's relationship. We needed more time to see Amelia and Ollie's relationship. We needed more time to see Zato and Ion's friendship relationship, whatever they got going on. We needed more time to see Javi develop his arm. And honestly, I don't like the fact that he lost an arm and he didn't scream in agony like he was in the most pain of his life. Like, he's just like, oh, my arm is gone. I'm like, no, you're supposed to be screaming in agony. Your arm is gone. And not only that, it's just like, y'all had Billy dead, which was great. But he should have been Sho Longbow because y'all should have never got rid of the Cosmic Fury suits. I mean, the Q Ranger suits, y'all should have kept all of them because y'all had enough people to fill all the spots. Y'all had Nick Cannon, the dude from freaking Ninja Steel. He could have been a Ranger. Y'all had Heckle. He could have been a Ranger. Y'all had Amelia Parents, Void Queen and Void Knight. They could have been Rangers. We had enough people to fill in all the gaps, bro. Y'all just didn't want to do it because y'all wanted to be original and y'all wanted to bring back that Mighty Morphin feeling with the dinosaurs, with the dinosaur suits on the space things. And it's just, I know I'm crashing out, but I'm going to crash out right now because, oh, y'all made me create a demon. Oh my god. Y'all made me make a demon. Y'all made me make Ikagen. Because, I didn't know this thing was going to be this dastardly shit. I had a whole other villain planned out. The Monitor. He was supposed to be the end-all be-all, Goliath. I had mad other villains. They're both been recycled into Ikagen and fucking Qyburn. The Monitor is essentially now Qyburn, and again, Goliath is Ikagen now. Because Goliath was, oh my god, Goliath. If I told y'all guys about Goliath, If you know, you know. The people who know me know who Goliath is and how terrifying he is. I can't even begin to describe Goliath. But yeah, bits of that character got put into my Ikage character. Because Cosmic Fury, y'all turned him into a coward! A craven! And it's like, I like Inkworth, but I don't think he should be a coward or a craven, bro. Like, no. He killed 11 Rangers. 11. He killed 11 bodies. 11. Sholombo has PTSD because of this man. He used to have a friend that was a bear. That bear is not here because of Ikage. I love Ikage. Ikage's like one of my favorite fucking characters of all time. Him, Rogexio, Madara, Littlefinger, and Xemnas. Those are my favorite fucking characters of all time. Add Luffy to the mix. The only reason I don't do that is because One Piece World is... I'm gonna get to One Piece eventually, because I want to make different Ranger forms for them though, because I don't want them to just have what the Gokaigas have, even though that's a nice little aesthetic for it, but I want them to have something different. But damn, I went on about this for a while. I'm supposed to be telling the story. This video is going to be long, probably hours long, because this is me basically explaining everything that happened now in anticipation for season 2, because the last episode with the Zangief was the season finale. So yeah, Ikage wants to inconvenience everybody because he got cold for Christmas, and he didn't like having cold for Christmas. I wanted to make a joke episode. An episode that wasn't so serious, where Ikage wanted to destroy everything, but he wasn't going to work really, really hard to do it. He was just going to create so many monsters that the Heroes of Light would have to work extra hard to destroy everything. So they won't have that much time left to celebrate Christmas. And he was just going to, and that entire time, he was just going to sit there and play PlayStation with Inkworth. Because he was like, you know what, fuck y'all guys. Y'all want to get me cold? I'm going to summon a bunch of monsters, and me and Inkworth going to play PlayStation. And Joker was there. I got to get back to Joker and Batman and stuff like that. Like, I was looking at the new universe where Batman got like a battle axe on his chest, and he's like 6 feet tall, looking like Sir Duncan and stuff like that. And Superman got a sentient cape, and Wonder Woman and Calypso is going to be interesting, because Wonder Woman is tied to these Greek gods. But remember what I said about resets and gods. They often can be different people when the universe gets reset. So when Wonder Woman meets Calypso, she's going to hear about what happened to the original Pantheon, but in that universe, it would be that set of the Greek Pantheon. And and I don't know how I'm going to gauge it, whether Wonder Woman and Calypso will be allies or enemies, because it could be either or. But back to, yeah, Inkworth and freaking Ikage. And Rogexio got really tight at that, because they basically wasted their time. Because the Dragon Ball Z characters, along with Rogexio and her group, they basically stopped the Christmas monster, because the Christmas monster wanted to take away Christmas from everybody. Like, you know what, y'all don't get to celebrate Christmas. Why y'all need a Christmas gift for? I didn't get shit, nobody gonna get shit this year. And they repaired that because they defeated all the humbugs, they destroyed the Christmas monster, and they was able to reverse the spell and give everybody back their Christmas gifts. Plus give them a little bit more this year. So, now that ended up going on, we see Daenerys Targaryen. Next episode starts with Daenerys, and she is gathering her army. She's been gathering her army for a long time. Truth is, I want to lock in on the Game of Thrones, but I had to give the Game of Thrones stuff time to build. I had to. Because the Power Rangers stuff is easy for me to get to. The Game of Thrones stuff is even easier for me to get to. But I know that a lot of people don't really like Game of Thrones, and I love Game of Thrones, and I don't care if people don't like Game of Thrones. They're here to stay, because I love Game of Thrones. And there's people that love Game of Thrones too, and I want to make stories about Game of Thrones, because, like I said, I like Game of Thrones. I just didn't like Season 8 and Season 7. Everything that happened up till Season 4 was perfect, and then Littlefinger sold Sansa to the Boltons, which is something he didn't do in the books. And then after that, other shit started happening. Tyrion started ruining Daenerys' plans, and Varys got killed because he was talking to the Unsullied in front of. He was talking to Jon Snow in front of the Unsullied, and more or less, I was just like, this shit is trash. Like, I got mad when Littlefinger died. That's why I made Littlefinger low-key one of the main characters in this story, because that's my favorite fucking character in Game of Thrones. He was the reason that he was the reason I came every Sunday at 9 o'clock. He and the Lannisters were the reason I was there, bro. In fact, when the When the Red Wedding happened, I honestly felt nothing. I felt nothing when the Red Wedding happened. Nothing at all. I didn't feel nothing for anything, because that was like my first time watching Game of Thrones. I wasn't rewatching it because I wasn't as obsessed with it as I am now. So in a vacuum, I didn't feel anything when that happened. When I read in the books, it felt really bad, because we got to beat inside Lady Catelyn's head. And like it was sad when she was like, please don't cut my hair. Ned loves my hair. And I was like, damn, that's so sad. How they gonna do my girl Cat like that, bro? But it was just sad in the books because I got to see it side of the head. In the show, like, I was always on Team Lannister since day one, my nigga. Since I saw Tyrion, Jaime, and Cersei, I was like, okay, I like these guys, but they ain't shit. They the ones that's gonna drop the plot. I always look for the villains every time I go inside the show. So once I saw the Lannisters, and then Littlefinger was another one. This evil, weevil, Underwood looking ass nigga. And he freaking came over here like, this trusting me was the wisest thing you've done since you climbed off your horse. And I'm like, nah, son. And then he hit him with the, I did warn you not to trust me. And then every time he was on the screen, everything was interesting. Everything got more colorful every time Littlefinger came to this fucking screen. Every time Littlefinger and the Lannisters were on the fucking screen, everything was colorful. Every time we went to the wall or back to Essos, shit got gray for me. I like Daenerys and Jon Snow, but there was nobody like I like them, but in a vacuum of everything, King's Landing was where to be, and it's always where to be. King's Landing is always lit in every fucking iteration of Game of Thrones. House of Dragons, King's Landing is lit. We go anywhere else, we go to Dragonstone, I'm tight. I'm like, why the fuck are we in Dragonstone, bruh? Oh my god. Dunkin' Egg, we didn't get to King's Landing yet at Dunkin' Egg, but we'll get there eventually. But nah, so King's Landing is always lit. So Daenerys, her army's about to march. So Barristan Selmy escapes. And he escapes because he wasn't influenced by Daenerys or the forces of darkness. Because in this universe, there are certain people that are immune to corruption. Sir Barristan Selmy is one of them. And the reason why Barristan Selmy is one of them because he's literally the most legendary knight of all time, bro. They was talking about Sir Barristan like he was that nigga, bro. They were like the way they put so much respect on Sir Barristan name, Ned Stark was like, I would not want to meet you in the field of battle because I not want to make my wife a widow. And like they dismissed him. Cersei was like, he was old. And Tywin Lannister was like, Joffrey didn't die on his watch. Giving Sir Barristan to our enemies was the dumbest shit you could have did. That nigga was, he did his job. He was worthy. He was him, bro. Like, nah. And I hated the way Sir Barristan died in season 8, bro. Not season 8, season 5. See, that's the beginning of my problem. Season 5, y'all killed off Sir Barristan Selmy. And y'all made him die by fucking the Sons of the Harpy. I made him die by fucking Harpy ladies. I'm like, oh my god. They have 1300 attack and 14 defense. Okay, it was a lot of them. It was probably a Harpy one on the field, so it was probably like 3 Harpy ones on the field. Because Harpies cheat and stuff. Let me tell y'all about an interesting story, bro. Because I'm talking about Harpies right now. This is going to be a long video. This should probably go like 2-3 hours. But I went to a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament one day, right? And it was also a cosplay tournament. Mind you, I'm not cosplaying that time because I didn't have my outfit on at the time, and I had to go to work that day, so I had no time to really bring the outfit. And I'm going to tell y'all about the story, then I'm going to get back to Power Results of Universe. I might make this a 3-part video because this is going to be really, really long. I don't know if I probably should just make this multiple parts. But I was in this Yu-Gi-Oh tournament and I was playing my Ancient Gear deck because that's the deck I was using around the time. And I have a friend, I'm not going to say her name, we're going to call her Sally. So me and Sally, we were in the tournament and like it was a cosplay thing, and one thing Steve said was it would be ironic because there was going to be a cosplay contest later on in the night, and Steve said it would be cool if like you just you cosplay as a black dude and then like see where that goes in there, like because I didn't have my costume, so he's like, dude, just say you're a black guy. And I'm like, okay, I guess. But remember that. Hold on to that, guys. Hold on to the fact that my friend Steve told me to be a black guy because I didn't have a costume, so he said just say you're cosplaying as a black guy because the paper was going around for the cosplay contest. And I just put that my costume was a black guy, and I'm literally a big black guy with a red shirt on and blue jeans. That's what I was wearing that day. So now, basically, boom, the tournament starts, and my opponent is a woman named Sally. Her name's not really Sally, but that's what I'm going to call her. And Sally is playing Harpy Ladies. And Harpy Ladies against Ancient Gears. Now, the first duel, I slap her. I win. I bring out my Ancient Gears, I bring out my Malefic Cyber End, I activate Limiter. Because I was playing Malefic Cyber End with Limiter. And for context, Malefic Cyber End has 4,000 attack power, and he has one of the most freest effects if you build a deck around him. He says, I can just banish a Cyber End Dragon from my extra deck to special summon this monster, and if there's no field spell on the field, he's destroyed. And other monsters can't attack so long as he's on the field. That's no big deal because he has 4,000 attack power. With Limiter removal, he has 8,000. If your opponent's field is naked, that's game. If you ain't got no monsters on that field, that's game. You ain't got no way to protect that, that's game. And my deck was tailored around doing that. And also I play Skill Drain. I played copy of 3 of them shits. So I was wilding back then. So the second round, I actually lost the second round. And I was wondering what happened. Like, how was these Harpy Ladies coming to the field? Because this was before they got the new support. This was before the synchros and the Harpy Channeler and all that came out. This was around the time where we only had Harpy Ladies 1, 2, 3, Cyber Harpy, and Harpy Queen, and Harpy Brother. Those are the ones we had. And Harpy Ladies have a ruling that says you can only use 3 Harpies in the deck, meaning you can't use 3 Harpy 1, 3 Harpy 2s, 3 Harpy 3s. You can only use 1. So you have to choose which ones you want to put in the deck, and it can only be a copy of 3. Which is why later on they started to make rules that say this card, Harpy Ladies that say this card is treated as Harpy Lady when it's on the field and in the graveyard or whatnot. So they could get around the fact that because they created these cards. But the thing about early Yu-Gi-Oh is they was making these cards and they didn't necessarily know where they were gonna go with it in the game and shit like that. Like they didn't know. Like sometimes they made mistakes, and that was a game mistake that they made. My friend Sally, she plays Yu-Gi-Oh with her boyfriend. And the thing is, I always had a stigma. Whereas a lot of women that played Yu-Gi-Oh because their boyfriend played Yu-Gi-Oh usually build some type of female deck, some type of non-competitive, some type of deck that fit their aesthetic more so than it fit usability. Which is why when my boy B, he put his girl on the Yu-Gi-Oh. She was playing Fight First and she was slapping everybody, bro. Like I lost to her. Like I was surprised, and her personality, like she's the type that wouldn't play this game at all, but she played and she was actually good at it. And it's because her man understood something that I understood, because that's my best friend right there. That if you're gonna bring your girl into this game, have her play something that's going to have a win. Have her play something that's going to have a slap and destroy. Because niggas is summoning Dragoon out here relentlessly. And there's gonna be people that want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Niggas don't care about how difficult it is. Like nigga, we saw Yami Yugi summon Exodia against Blue Eyes, and we've been chasing that same high ever since. So she plays. So I've seen Harpy Ladies 1, 2, 3, Cyber Harpy, and regular Harpy Lady. I've seen all 5 of them throughout my duel. And I actually raised my hand. And I hate myself for this because I feel like a snitch, but like it's against the rules. So I raised my hand. So I asked the judge what happened, bro. I asked the judge, is that allowed for her to have those cards in that deck? And I wanted to finish the duel and stuff like that. They disqualified her. And when they disqualified her, I started to look around because I realized what just happened. Because this girl was cute. She was bad. And she was dressed like a Pikachu. And this is an anime convention with a lot of sweaty dudes that play Yu-Gi-Oh! That's dressed up like anime characters. And I am a big black dude with no costume that just eliminated an anime girl. She got disqualified. Bro, the Knights of Shining Armor are going to start coming out the woodwork, and I'm about to have to crash the fuck out. And I knew this was going to happen because as soon as I left the room, because I tried to leave, I was like, let me get out of here because I'm just going to come back later. I'm going to go use the bathroom and get something to eat. Because I realized what the fuck just happened. I'm like, let me get the fuck out of here because I'm not trying to deal with all of you niggas that want to fight because y'all niggas want to smash. And I'm going to have to deal with a bunch of niggas having to fight for, my lady, did this man hurt you? I'm going to have to deal with all of that. And the first nigga I see outside is the same nigga that told me about the idea, about the costume. My boy Steven just looking at me in my face, and he says, you ain't got no soul. And with a smile, with an evil smile on his face. And I didn't know what to make of that, bro. Like, he said, I ain't got no soul, bro. And I didn't know what to make of that shit because I didn't want that shit to happen. And I didn't know what to do. And then after that, more angry people showed up. All the rest of my friends showed up. And they didn't show up to wish me no congratulations or nothing. They all came to bitch and moan and whine and be angry at me and complain. And it got on my nerves because I knew this shit was going to happen. I knew it. The minute they said she's disqualified, and she started crying, and I realized that she's cute and she has a Pikachu shirt on, and niggas is desperate, and niggas will try to. I was like, oh my god. I said, yo. And then I just crashed out on everybody. I just yelled. I'm like, yo, fuck this shit. I grew up in the trenches, nigga. Where we come from, there is no mercy in this game. If you are bad at this game, we clown you. We make fucking fun of you. Now all of a sudden, she get fucking eliminated, and I'm the fucking bad guy. Like, I crashed out. Like, I didn't, like, bro, I got angry because niggas was fucking judging me because this girl got eliminated because she was breaking the rules because she didn't fucking know the rules because of stupid ass Harpy Lady because these niggas created 1, 2, and 3. And I'm like, why did y'all make 1, 2, and 3? Why? There was no need to make them like that. I could have just named them some other shit. And I'm glad y'all fixed it, but damn, that shit, like, that got on my nerves. And then her man wanted to duel me. He was like, I told you to do a duel. And he got slapped because I played fucking Skill Trading, Cyber Ends. He's not gonna win against that because he's playing Interiors. You brought a salad to a dragon fight, nigga, the fuck? And it's just more or less, that day. And then after that, the cosplay tournament ended up happening. And I decided to go on there. I don't got no costume, but I already said I was a black guy. And then we all gotta show up, we all gotta get on stage and reveal our costume, do a little dance or something, and then leave the stage. It's like a runway. I go up there and like I start dancing and stuff like that, and niggas start cheering and shit. Because they say that my costume's a black guy, everybody just start laughing, guffawing, and cheering. Now there's prizes at the end of this tournament, at the end of this contest. The prize is you get to go to Comic-Con this year if you win. If you are one of the final contestants for the costume contest. And the last couple of people that were there, they put their head over everybody. But me, I knew how to work the crowd because I knew you guys are shy and y'all like anime, and most of you people are not going to. Basically, I did what Everybody Hates Chris did. I said, let me just try to blackify this situation and see if it works. I just started dancing. And bro, I started dancing like they put their hand over everybody's head, and people were just standing still, and people were clapping based on they liking the costume and stuff like that. So when they put my hand over my head and they said I'm a black guy, I just started dancing, and then everybody just started clapping and stuff like that. And I was one of the people who won. I literally was one of the people who won. And that story, I think about that shit to this day. I didn't have no costume that day, and I won a costume contest. And I had a friend of mine that was really an op. Like, you ever have like this Gary Oak ass person? You ever have this Gary Oak ass person in your peripheral? She has a page where she posts anime stuff, where there's a group where we all post anime stuff at. And the thing about this page is we post things that are anime and anime adjacent. I was posting things that are anime adjacent. I was posting about Kingdom Hearts and BlazBlue. I was posting things about Hakumen and Ragnar and Sora and Xemnas and Xigbar and Sayax and them. Shion. Those 4 organization members are my favorite, by the way. Xemnas, Xigbar, Sayax, and Shion. Those are my favorite. And Luxord too. Those 5 essentially. But yeah. But I was posting things on this page and she got angry with me. Like, she told me to stop posting BlazBlue and Kingdom Hearts on this page and shit like that. And we both go into the cosplay tournament. She was cosplaying to some shit. I forgot. I think she was Edward Elric or some shit. And she was mad. And then I go and she's crying. This woman is crying, bro. And I go up to her. I walk up to this woman. And I look at her. I'm like, yo, you okay? You good? And she looks at me in my black face and says, how could you win? Like, she said, how is it that I could win? Like, she was literally crying because she lost and I won because I just said I'm a black guy and she had a costume on and she doesn't like me and I won and she didn't. She got mad because I won, essentially. And she didn't win. And that's rather unfortunate for her. Because she didn't have to go through all of that. She didn't have to cry. She didn't have to get jealous and stuff. But she just got angry. She just got angry because I decided to do something clever. And it wasn't even my idea. It was my boy Steve's idea. And I just decided to go with it because it sounded funny. And she just got angry and upset at me because of that, apparently. It's crazy when you really think about it. At least, I think about that shit at least 6 times a year. Six times a year I think about that shit. But I'm about to get back to this story because I went off track because this is going to be a super rambling video. Because I plan on making a couple of these just because I got a lot to say. And this story is long, there's a lot of characters, and there's a lot of moving parts. And I got a lot of shit to say outside of the story too. A lot of context I gotta add for just me in general and this project, things that ain't got shit to do with the project. So yeah, I'll be right back. Yeah. Alright, so let's get back to the story. So now, Jason ends up coming back because the one thing that happened was Draken attacked Tommy during the Christmas special. He attacked Tommy with the Zeo Rangers, and Dexter digitized the Zeo Rangers. But this put a monkey wrench in the Galactic Crash House plans because they were planning on using the Power Rangers to destroy the Power Rangers. But if Dexter could just digitize them, like, summoning them is now risky because you run the risk of losing them. Now y'all need to find a way to stop Dexter from digitizing them so y'all could even use the silhouettes at all, which is why whatever Ranger silhouettes they haven't summoned necessarily yet. And they tried to do it with the Kingdom Hearts silhouettes, probably thinking Kingdom Hearts Keyblades are different, so maybe it wouldn't happen. That's why Inkheart, Ikaga's Heartless summoned Aqua and Vin in episode 28. However, Luxord was there. He just turned them into cards, so yeah. But back to this episode. Now Jason is back. Jason is back because the flawless military decided to bring him back. But they had enough of Jason to bring him back. But the only two power sets he had was Zeo and Mighty Morphin. And he had the Omega Ranger powers, but those powers are... There's a whole different storyline I planned for the Omega Rangers, where even Kimberly is a pink one, and they have... I think I'm going to keep Kai as the blue one. I might be able to keep the cat, I don't know. But I got something planned for the Omega Rangers later that will be a flashback or adjacent story, essentially. But, yeah, but... Those were... They tied to Jason, but... Zeo and Gold was mainly connected to them, so they only needed those to bring back Jason. They like, you gotta think of it like, you ever play a Digimon game and you know, like you get like scan data for your character, and then you were able to scan and then you were able to get that Digimon that to your team. You gotta think about it like that with these Power Ranger powers. Like, how much enough scan data do I have to get this person to or be around and stable and stuff like that? They didn't have enough scan data for like Adam. With just the Zeo powers, they need to get his Mighty Morphin powers as well, and the same would go for Rocky, Cat. So, but Jason is back, and Lord Zedd decides to attack the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers because Lord Zedd's focus wants to destroy the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He's not like the rest of these villains that they're like, I want to destroy Calypso, the Star Force Rangers, every house in Westeros. Like, there's so many other shit that everybody else want to destroy. The Ninja Storm Rangers, the Gokaigers must suffer. It's all of those teams. So many teams, so many factions. Kaiba, Yugi, all of them. Like, Sora, like, Naruto. And like, and there's an op for everybody, son. And Lord Zedd is the op for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He's pulled up with the Dark Line Express, which is the Tokyo-Uger villains. The Tokyo-Uger villains essentially... the Tokyo-Uger villains, because like Void Queen was a Tokyo-Uger villain, and y'all didn't use the rest of them. I mean, y'all used Baron Nero for that one character from Power Rangers Ninja Steel, but I don't like him or what y'all did to his design, because y'all just put this guy's face on Baron Nero's body. Which, if he was a cool, menacing character, sure, but he wasn't. He was just Gigantify. I'm not gonna lie, I like him saying Gigantify though, because I have that in my head. Was it him that said Gigantify? Or was that or was that? What's that other villain's name? The blue nigga from Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury? Slider. I think that was Slider who said it like that. It was Gigantify. I forgot which one said it like that. But yeah, but he has those villains, and he has Schwartz on the side, which in this universe I have named him Cornelius Luis Shadowstein. Cornelius, because every time you say the word Cornelius, I don't know if I have some type of weird Tourette's or something, but every time the word Cornelius is said in my presence, I laugh. My girl has a friend named Cornelius, and she brings him up every now and then. She says Cornelius, and I just start laughing because his name's Cornelius. Like, I don't know why. Every time I hear the name Cornelius, it brings a chuckle to my name. Luis, just figure he have a middle name. Like, why don't more characters have middle names? Like, whether you guys are robots, aliens, or like demons, like, long names are just more intimidating than short names sometimes. Sometimes short names can just really do it. It depends. And Shadowstein, because of the Dark Line Express. And he's going to have smoke and with the Yellow Ranger and the Black Ranger specifically. Like, he wants to eliminate all of the Rangers, but Ming's going to be... It's going to be like a rivalry with him and Ming, because he basically called Ming inferior and said he doesn't talk to weaklings. He only acknowledges them. I do not talk to weaklings. I only acknowledge them for 2 minutes. He only acknowledges them for like 2 minutes and shit. Like, he just did that to talk shit. So he's going to be an op for her and shit like that. Void Queen, like, I just wanted to play because with the idea, like, you know, because like, even though her good self would exist and she'd probably be wherever Tarek is at, but the evil variants of these characters still exist. If the Mystic Mother is a thing in the universe, and Robo Rita can still be manifested when Billy's looking through the morphing grid, the same could be said for Void Queen or Astronomer or any other evil variant of a character. So yeah, and Void Queen decided to go with Lord Zedd because Lord Zedd was stuck on a Genjutsu planet with his wife, of all people, just stuck there for a long ass time until Ikagen and Athena got him out of that. They got him out of that because they was like, because the kind of Fury tried to be like, no villain can ever come here and get Lord Zedd off the planet. What if we have spaceships that could just beam him off the planet from far fuck away? Like, no. I don't like how y'all ended Lord Zedd. He will have his final battle. Like, Lord Zedd, And they fought Luis Shadowstein. And eventually, the Rangers accessed their battleizers in this fight. Jason and Tommy have theirs. Jason already had his shit Shattered Grid Redux. because all the events that happen in Shaggy Redux take place in the past when they were still younger and stuff. So now Jason still has his Battleizer. All of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers have Battleizers, super forms, bites, and all types of new shit because they have full access to the Morphin Grid. They were able to use that full access to defeat Lord Zedd's gigantic mech when they summoned all of their Zords, and Tommy was able to combine the Eagle, Tiger, and White Zord to create the Great Tiger Shogun Dragon Zord complete, Titan Dragon Zord complete. It's big names. Big name for a big mech. The Titan Mech Tiger Dragon Zord complete. And that took out Zed Zord. And then after that, the next episode, Littlefinger and Varys are just walking in J-Tech City. They're having a conversation because Littlefinger and Varys have conversations. They're friends. Yeah, they were enemies in Game of Thrones and shit like that, but in the past life, they were actually best friends. So, and in real talk, I just like the combination of Littlefinger and Varys, bro. Like, they just worked, they worked best together. And I never got the closure I needed from Littlefinger and Varys. They both died really, really horribly in Game of Thrones. And I ended up getting that closure somewhere else with Aidan Gillen's actor when he played David Allen. This is a comedian that I was unfamiliar with up until I watched Aidan Gillen perform him. Aidan Gillen and Conor Hill have a role in there where they're both brothers, and they basically give like a tearful goodbye and stuff like that. And I needed that because I'm a Game of Thrones head, and Littlefinger and Varys never got that. So when I watched Dave Allen, I got to see Aidan Gillen and Conor play different characters, but in my mind, that's still Littlefinger and Varys talking. That did a lot for my fucking psyche right there. It did a whole lot for it because I like. All right, I'm just going to name all my favorite Game of Thrones characters right now. Littlefinger is number 1. Tywin Lannister is number 2. Cersei is number 3. Alicent is number 4. Varys is number 5. Damn, it was so easy for me to say those 5. I got to think after that. I actually, like, anything outside of those 5 takes effort. Like, I got to think who I like. I like Ned, but do I like Ned more than Robert? Do I like Robert more than Stannis? I do like Robert more than Stannis. I do like Stannis, but I don't like him that much. You burned your daughter alive. But all the other characters committed atrocities. They like that. Stannis Baratheon wasn't. You didn't need to burn your daughter alive. You were never an asshole. You were never supposed to be that kind of person. To burn your daughter alive, listening to this big titty goth bitch. Talking about, you need to burn your daughter alive. It's for the Lord of Light. I see it in the fire. You are the Lord's chosen. Burn him in salt and smoke. Is he him? Shut up. But nah, son. So, yeah, like, outside the 5 niggas I just mentioned, everything else takes effort because I'm like, all right, the thing is I love the Game of Thrones characters so completely, but it's hard for me to rank everybody because I like them. I like the Hound, but I like the Mountain too. I like Arya, but I like Sansa, and I hate Bran. Bran, out of all of the fucking characters in that whole show, I hate this nigga with all my heart. I do not like Brandon Stark. All respect to the actor that plays him. That boy did his thing. He did his thing playing him. I liked him better when he was in early seasons, when he was a little boy before his voice broke and he started to sound like this. I liked it better when he sounded like this. I don't know. I like Brandon better when he was younger. For Arya and Sansa, I like the entire story from start to fucking finish. It's just that for me, I just feel like Littlefinger just didn't do the same stupid shit that he did in the books and the show. So, like, it separates for me mentally with Sansa when it comes to Littlefinger because he's still alive in the books and he's probably gonna meet his end in some other way. But Arya had the only levels of plot armor, son. Bro, Arya, people have asked, not me, but people have asked the question, if Sansa and Arya were to switch places, would they survive it? I'm gonna tell y'all exactly what happened. It depends on who's available and who's around and who gives a fuck enough about each of them in their predicaments. If you throw Arya in King's Landing, she's subjected to dealing with Joffrey, and she's not betrothed to Joffrey. They might treat her as less than what they did with Sansa, if I'm being completely honest. And the only person that she had in her corner is the Hound. Now, if she's able to survive till the Blackwater, then if she's able to survive till the Blackwater, she gets out of there alive. She gets out of there alive because Sandor's gonna come and rescue her because he did it. If he did it for Sansa, he'll probably do it for Arya too. You're like, come here, little girl, let's get you back home. It's fire in the Blackwater. He's gonna dip. And that's how Arya gets home like that. But let's say that doesn't happen for some reason, or she says no for whatever dumb reason that Sansa said no. Arya's going to die after that because all the events of Game of Thrones are still going to take place exactly the way they did, and Arya doesn't have Littlefinger to get her out of that situation. Because the thing about Littlefinger is he wants Sansa. Well, at least in Game of Thrones he does. In this universe he's slightly, in mine he's a little bit different. He doesn't want her anymore. He's past that. But in Game of Thrones, that nigga loves Sansa. He loves Sansa, And that was his main motivation to doing most of the shit that he did, was either him or Sansa or fucking Catelyn. One of these two. And I don't think Arya gets that same treatment, because Littlefinger does not fancy Arya the way that he fancied Sansa. Now, you throw Sansa in Arya's shoe, she's dead, and she's dead in 5 minutes. She doesn't survive the first fat nigga that tried to kidnap her. Because Arya stabbed him. She's like, stay away! And then he died. Sansa would never do that. So what ends up happening is bad things happen to Sansa. If she gets out of that situation, she's stuck in the Night's Watch. She doesn't look boyish enough to hide as a boy. She could try, and let's say she gets away with that. Let's say she somehow survives Harrenhal and Tywin Lannister gets there. Roose, if you want to count the books, we all count the show. We all want Tywin there. Like, we all unanimously say that part of the show was better than the books. That Tywin Lannister being there was just it was just better than her in the books with Roose Bolton, in my opinion. But yeah, if Tywin's there and he knows that Sansa Stark, she gets used as a bargaining chip. She does get to survive though, but she gets to survive on Tywin Lannister's terms. If Tywin doesn't know and she's somehow a cupbearer, Sansa is not Arya. She doesn't know how to lie through her teeth without Littlefinger's tutelage yet. Littlefinger hasn't gotten there. So, and that's another thing, because Littlefinger does make it to Harrenhal. So if Littlefinger is in Harrenhal, he could possibly just grab her from Harrenhal or something like that. Make a deal with Tywin, because what does he care about a peasant girl? And then he would just have the key to the north in his pocket. So Littlefinger would just get Sansa even fucking faster. So yeah, that's what happens if they switch places. They end up exactly right where they were going to be, because the people that care about them, at least on a surface level, are still going to do and move the same fucking way. Like, the Hound is still going to leave, and he's going to leave with Arya, and if Littlefinger sees Sansa, he's going to maneuver her in a way where she's going to either be by his side or be useful to him in whatever plan that he has moving forward. So yeah, if you throw them in the same environment, that's what happens. But now they were basically walking through the city, and Littlefinger was basically speaking on like how Westeros was essentially changed, and he felt like it was a cosmic hand that necessarily did it, especially since Brandon Stark knew all of his crimes and stuff, and he didn't tell nobody that. He was aware that he had some type of omnipotence of Free Raven. And he asked Rogaxio about it. Rogaxio knew 100% with Brandon. She said, oh yeah, he's an ancient entity. He plays God in that world. He's essentially God of that world and stuff like that. And Littlefinger was like, yeah, but he's a crippled boy. Like, I should just be... If they're not going to give it to Daenerys or the Lannisters, you should just give it to me. And then Rogaxio was like, oh, hell no, I'm not giving that shit to you. You're going to burn that place to the fucking ground without me there to direct that shit. This is what's going to fucking happen, Lord Baelish. We're going to pull up, and I'm going to stop this season 8 bullshit. But we're going to give it back to we're going to give it back to the houses of the Seven Gate. We're going to give it back to the Starks and the Lannisters and the Baratheons. That's what we're going to give the kingdoms back to. And yeah, you'll be in charge of shit, because we're going to bring a bunch of new shit to Westeros, innovations and stuff like that. And you'll be in charge of how that runs, and if anything outside of Westeros fucks with Westeros, that'll be your dominion. And Littlefinger was like, that doesn't sound too bad. I get to be protector of the realm, but not king of the Seven Kingdoms. And because Varys was the one who came up with the idea to bring everybody back to life. Because Varys wanted to see exactly what they were all going to do with it. Because Varys figured, if I'm already back to life and that's just something that she could just fucking do, then bring them all back and let them all live with themselves. And that was Varys' idea. Littlefinger just wanted to rule everything, and he didn't get a chance to do it the way he wanted to, so he just had to accept whatever the fuck Rogaxio was given and pivot that way. And Varys, more or less, he was the one that said just bring everybody back to life, because Rogaxio was like, okay, if I kill Daenerys, then what? He said, if I kill the dragon, then what happens? And then, like, that's when they all came to the conclusion, and they were just going to add Westeros to the Forest Military, to everything that they had going on there. And Calypso originally necessarily wasn't going to do this, because, believe it or not, she was actually going to go for the One Piece world. She was actually going to go for that one specifically, but she decided not to. There might be some ties to her in the One Piece world with some type of pirate crew and stuff like that. I'm thinking about it. Gears turning. But basically, now, remember when I said Calypso is the reason why the Greek gods fell? We had two of the gods that fell was Aphrodite and Ares. And in this reset, they got born as Ruin and Demise from Yu-Gi-Oh! Demise is the monster that you pay 2,000, you blow up the field. He's a ritual monster summoned by end of the world. Ruin's the female monster that nobody uses because she attacks everything. And Yu-Gi-Oh! She has 2,300 attack points. And it's just more viable to have something that's 2,400 to nukes everything. So Aphrodite is mad at Littlefinger and Varys because in the past life they were the reason for her downfall, along with Calypso and stuff like that. So she summons a bunch of wolves and dragons to undermine them and attack them. And now that these wolves and dragons are here, Littlefinger transforms into Deckard, because one thing that Littlefinger has is access to all the villain keys. All of them. Or any Power Ranger villain, he has access to them. Because every time a new force is created in the universe, just like with the Power Rangers, not with every single villain, but the notable ones, like Deckard, your Deckers, your Korags, your Ecliptors, Psycho Rangers, people like that, he has the keys for. So he has the keys for all of those characters, and he turns into Deckard, and Aphrodite, she can't necessarily go into that world because she's been sealed in the underworld, which is why when they come to the underworld, she fights him there. Because they have to go to the underworld, because Jason charges headfirst into the underworld. Jason does this because he doesn't feel like the Flawless military is working fast enough. And like I said, some of the Rangers don't necessarily trust all of the people in the Flawless military just yet, and people like Xemnas Martyr and Littlefinger gotta earn their keep around here. So Jason goes into there, and like Littlefinger's monitoring him and shit. He's trying to make sure Jason doesn't fucking die. And then the signal goes off, and then he's basically sinking into the darkness because you're in the realm of darkness. And Ansem has powers of darkness, and he could just make you sink even further in there. That shit could kill you. But Calypso is friends with Hades, who is also a part of the realm of darkness, which is just another part of the hell. There's 7 hells that, and the realm of darkness is just the 5th hell. And Hades helps Jason out. He gets him out of there. He gives him his Omega Ranger powers. The Omega Ranger powers have an Omega Cannon that has Z-Wave particles that can obliterate evil. So Littlefinger hears that Jason's not there. He goes into the realm of darkness along with Xemnas, Xion, and Sayax. They all go there, and Tommy's also there too because he goes after Jason. But Tommy ends up fighting Vanitas because Vanitas wants his lick back after he got beat up at Destiny Islands. So yeah, Vanitas wants his lick back. Then he gets Vanitas by Tommy when he turns into his red Zeo form, and Zeo Flying Foul kicks him. Beats the crap out of that little boy. Xemnas has a fight with Socrosis, and Xemnas tries to make Socrosis see reason. He makes him try to see that Master Xander's just going to use him for his own devices, and that we actually have, like, we give you more freedom here. So, like, he wanted Socrosis to join him, essentially, because Xemnas has a soft spot for Socrosis, because Socrosis is a nobody of Xehanort like him. Socrosis don't care about none of that. He only cares about his master and the mission. So he wasn't fucking with nothing that Xemnas had to put up. Aphrodite, they didn't create the replicas. The replicas were given to her by Xehanort. That's when he pulled up and spoke to Aphrodite and Ares. Sayax, Xion, and Xemnas all have replicas from Kingdom Hearts 3. Littlefinger doesn't have one because Xehanort didn't make one from it yet. The rest of the Flawless military probably got them by now, because enough time has passed that Xehanort will have more time to develop these replicas with replicated Littlefinger, Rogaxio, and Madara powers. So even Dexter Beatrice probably got one. But at this point in time, they didn't. And Aphrodite fought Baelish because they got history. And Baelish got to whip out his entire cool kit. Like, Baelish was wilding, bro. That nigga was throwing ladders at her. He kicked her through the moon door with trap hole, through the entire Iron Throne at her, bro. Like, Baelish was wilding. And the rest of the Ex Machina Rangers, they defeated their clones. Xemnas, who was with Red Lion, him and Red Lion are actually good friends because Xemnas is trying to find himself and be a good person. And Xemnas is an artificial humanoid because that's what a nobody is. They're like artificial humans until the heart grows back. Then they're nobody in name only. They're essentially just humans with superpowers at that point. And the Wild Zords, they're sentient robots, kind of like artificial robots in a sense. So that's why him and Blazing Lion connected. And Blazing Lion also wanted to get Cole back. He was trying to search for somebody else to help get his man's back. And Xemnas was the guy to do it. So they ended up getting back Devin, Cole, Shane, and Brody after they defeated Aphrodite. Aphrodite got sealed inside of the dagger, the Dark One's dagger of Littlefinger's. And Ares tried to stop them. He tried to come and fight, but Littlefinger negated that nigga summoning with Horn of the Heaven. Because he has Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and Littlefinger has been dueling enough for him to have enough kit of Yu-Gi-Oh cards for emergency situations like that. Like, a lot of characters have emergency Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh Magic is, like, the Yu-Gi-Oh duelists, they use it freely, but a lot of characters mostly use, like, emergency. You gotta think of, like, Yu-Gi-Oh Magic like an extra slot in a game. So Aphrodite was dealt with, and while that was happening, Athena got a new body now. She's blue. She got a new blue body. And she is ready for war right now because she basically makes a meeting with all the Galactic Crash House, Poseidon included, and they basically want to attack the entire the fucking universe. They want to spread and at least start fucking with everybody. And the first person that she decides to fuck with is the Star Force Rangers because Lucky Vaughn is Rogexio's son. So she says, I'm gonna fuck with your child. And Eredrone, my husband, you're gonna come with me. Eredrone Sagittarius the Fourth is actually the son of Eurylochus from the Odyssey, because Eurylochus dies. Zeus kills Eurylochus and all of his men after Odysseus before Odysseus ends up on Calypso's island. But Eurylochus had a child too. I don't know if he did in the Odyssey and stuff, but in this story he does. And that child is Eurydion, which Athena ends up somewhat falling in love with him in there, because enough time passes where Eurydion is a man and she gets transformed into a rat. And then Eurydion ends up dying and shit like that. But later on, like when Athena comes back, she physically brings him back and makes that body for him essentially. That's why he becomes Eurydion Sagittarius III. But now Athena, basically, another thing that happens is Joe Gitkin gives Noah some sabers because Noah and Kevin all hang out because they're all swordsmen and they all be training together. And there was a flashback scene taking place with the Megaforce Rangers. I already explained that. But the Star Force Rangers, they fight against a bunch of movers because villains got access to all of the putties. All of the putty archetypes they got access to. They can just pick which one they want. So they decided to use the movers of the Gadoshi River, the Sanzu River. I be forgetting what it's, because like I said, I watch Power Rangers and Sentai interchangeably. So I be saying Gadoshi when I be wanting to say Nightlock and Sanzu sometimes. Because I was rewatching the episode and Inkworth was like, the Gadoshi River flows through my veins! And I was like, fuck, I should have said, the Sanzu River flows through my veins! That's what I should have said, but I already had it that way. And it's just like I said, I watch Sentai and Power Rangers interchangeably. The only difference to me is the language. They're all the same thing, except there's more blood and seriousness in Sentai, and there's less of it in Power Rangers. But it's mostly the same thing to me. But, yeah. Now, they get cast off to the Island of Illusions. And this is where we're on the recent arcs right now. Because each of them goes through an illusionary battle. I explained this in a recent video, but I'll go over it because I'm going over the entire story right now in these current videos. So, basically, when they get to the Island of Illusions, Terranor is swallowed by Lokar because the first thing he fights is the Lingering Will. Lucky Vaughn has to fight Goldar, which transforms into the Green Ranger, which transforms into Ecliptor, which transforms into Terranor, transforms into Athena, which transforms into Ikagen, and he doesn't want his mother to help him, and he uses the Infinity Gauntlet to get him out of there. Looking back at it, I should have thought of a different out to get him out of there, but that's the out that he had, because narratively it makes sense because his friend is Thanos, so he would think of an Infinity Gauntlet because his friend is Thanos, but I feel like I could have did something else with that. I ain't like how I ended Lucky Vaughn's mental battle, essentially, with him just snapping his fingers and getting out of the situation. Like, sometimes I look back at the story and I'll be like, okay, I could have did this differently and shit like that. But, yeah. Now, for Nominate was one of the most fun ones to do because she had beef with Marluxia and Larxene and she never got to get her lick back against these two. Like these two got to run rampant and be assholes to her their entire existence, and she was just like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm not dealing with this shit no more. Y'all can eat a dick. And she literally meant that, and even she wasn't going to finish that Genjutsu battle until she finished putting belt to ass on the two abusers that abuse her. So yeah, she put belt to ass on those niggas and shit, and they got their ass. Thanos, he had to go inside the Squid Games and deal with MG Coin because, like, he was in the Squid Games. Squid Games incredibly dramatic. He died in the Squid Games until Calypso brought everybody in the Squid Games back, and her and Gi-Hun, like they basically fixed Squid Games essentially. Now how will the front man and them feel about this? If I ever get back to Squid Games, I might do something with the front man. I don't know. Front man might even appear in the Island of Illusions at some point. But right now, that's what happened with Thanos. Now, Rickon, Daenerys attacked with her dragon. She attacked Winterfell in his illusionary battle. He had to fight Psycho Blue while Winterfell was burning, and Psycho Blue was transforming into his mom's. And he thought of his out was the Direwolf, which I like that out thematically more than I like the out for Lucky Vaughn. Because the Direwolf is tied intrinsically to the Starks, and Shaggy Dog is literally his dog. And yeah, all the Direwolves are back too. They got robotic upgrades and shit like that. That's why Sansa's lady was able to attack Goldar in that one episode. But yeah, but the Direwolf showed up, defeated Psycho Blue, and showed Bran getting bodied by Athena. And basically after that ended up happening, now we get to Luisa's. She gets beat up by Viltrumites, and then she gets taken into the island because her whole thing is about strength. And in a universe where there's thousands of things stronger than you and you're supposed to be the strongest in your village, yeah, it's a big fish, small pond situation. And Aemon, yeah, he had to fight. Pudgy Pig was transformed into a pig dragon because he has anxieties against pigs. Because Aegon, Lucerys, and Jacaerys used to make fun of him. They used to make fun of Aemon, and that's why he got transformed into a pig. So that's where they left off, because Athena told Rickon what happened to Bane. Kind of bragging about it. Like, yeah, I killed that nigga because he was over here invading our minds and shit. And she already told the rest of the Galactic Crash Outs about this and shit. But more shit's going to happen as, like, the story continues, especially with Mavis and Athena. Now, while this was going on, Rita and Queen Machina decided to attack the Shinobi Lands because, remember, earlier on, their family were attacked by Sasori and Kasame. So, yeah. Master Violet and King Mondo, yeah, they got destroyed, and both of them don't like that. And Queen Machina is wild, and she's going to the Mist Village, transforming niggas into cogs and shit, trying to make a robo army. She even got Zabuza and all the other Mist Ninjas as robots and shit. And Rita, she took over the same village, corrupting Gaara, turning him into the Shikaku, flattening Kankuro. Tamari's still alive. I like Tamari. But yeah, so they gotta go back there, and Madara, he's in the Leaf Village, and the first thing he sees is Hashirama. And Hashirama was back the entire time. When Rogexi was bringing people back to life, and she went to the Naruto world and brought people back to life, Hashirama specifically asked Rogexio, I'm gonna need you to not tell Madara that I'm back to life, because I want to have a vacation with my wife, and Madara is very immature, and all he thinks about is me, and if I show up, he might give him reason to be evil. You might have another Galactic Crash Out on your hands if I'm still here for a long period of time. So I'm going to go on vacation, and hopefully by the time I get back, enough shit will change where I feel like it's comfortable enough for me to be like, hey. And that's exactly what ended up happening, because by the time Hashirama got back, they had to fight against outside threats coming to fucking attack the Shinobi Lands. And Madara was one of the people helping them instead of trying to destroy them. And Hashirama was like, oh shit, that's a change. I gotta see this firsthand. So yeah, Madara and Hashirama are back, and I just want them around for Banter's sake, because there's not a lot of niggas that can talk down to Madara. Like, there's not a lot of people that's on his level, because Madara's a very disrespectful character, and the only people that could, like, kind of, like, pull his card is, like, Hashirama, Naruto, Sasuke if he wanted to, I guess. If I haven't touched on Sasuke, because I haven't touched on Sasuke at all, period. And of course, Rogexio. It's like she's literally the freaking big boss of the entire fan project. And Beatrice too, the smart ones, because the scientists, they unnerve him, especially Dexter, because Madara senses Rogexio levels of chakra inside Dexter, because Dexter's another god in the making too. We just don't talk. He just doesn't leave it out in the open like that. Dexter tries to be low key about all of his stuff. He wants you to forget about him. The more you forget about him, the better. That's how Dexter feels. But that's why he lets his sister take the center stage. Because his sister, she's big brains, but Dexter's a threat. And Dexter's a sense threat waiting to happen, son. That's why Mavis never really pressed Beatrice that hard, because Dexter is there. Dexter's just as scary as Rogexio. But while Queen Machina is attacking the Shinobi Land, she wants to impress Vengeance, because she wants to marry Vengeance. She got the Taken-Jun body, and she wants to upload her brain inside the Taken-Jun body. And now, she sends Qyburn to eliminate the RPM Rangers. Because we missed the spot the last time we made this Destroy All Power Rangers video. We missed several spots, actually. So, Ikagen wanted to do it himself. Ikagen was like, yo, I'm already here. I could just kill them. Do you really need to do it yourself, Qyburn? I could just do it for you. Come on. And Qyburn's like, you've been given enough screen time already. Allow me to crash out on these fools. And Qyburn is one of the most dangerous Galactic Crash Outs out of all of them. He thought Dark Kondo was dangerous. Qyburn is mountains levels of dangerous. He takes geniuses and extracts their brain and uploads it into his ongoing internal network. He is the reason why the Crash Outs got new weapons, new access to everything. This nigga is a super scientist. Rick Sanchez level right now. He got all of that just by being in the Flawless Military and being around Dexter and Beatrice. He learned a lot. But did he learn more than Dexter and Beatrice? We don't know. I know the answer to that question, but I'm not going to say it. But the point is, Qyburn is a fucking problem. Because he has niggas like the Mountain with him. And nobody in Game of Thrones besides dragons and giants was beating the Mountain. And now the Mountain has mechanical augmentations. That makes him even more deadly than he was in Game of Thrones. And like these mechanical augmentations are Dragon Ball Z level mechanical augmentations. This is why he was able to one-shot Ziggy with his laser eyes. He was able to crush Scott's head. The Mountain is scary. And he even did this shit. He created Digimon hybrids. Digimon hybrids of the Dark Masters and all the other evil Digimon. Because I like Digimon. And not only that, Metal Seedramon is just my favorite Digimon, and I like doing Metal Seedramon's voice. Yeah! It's just adding an overgrown sea serpent to the story organically is hard, especially when it's not a Digimon story. I tried to do it with the Digimon Redux, but I wasn't getting, a lot of people wasn't really jacking that, and I want to get back to it, but I decided to just go with Power Rangers Ultimate Universe for now, and I'm going to get back to Digimon Redux eventually. So he turned the Dark Masters into freaking generals. So yes, I can still do the Metal Seedramon voice and have Metal Seedramon there because I really love, bro. Metal Seedramon is my favorite Digimon of all time. Like, bro, he's literally an all-terrain metallic sea serpent with cool-ass hair that shoots energy beams out of his nose. What's not to like, bro? Bro, if I had a Metal Seedramon, I would ride this nigga to work all the time. I would just go to work on it. I would still have a job, guys. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. If I had a Digimon of superpowers, I'd still go to work. Because you gotta do human shit to remember that you're still human. That's why even Rogexia still operates that way. Like, she still does human level things, but she also does genie god level shit as well. But if I had a Metal Seedramon, I would ride that bad boy everywhere. There's a couple of Digimon I want to ride on. Pause. There's a couple of Digimon that I need to ride on their backs. Metal Seedramon I want to ride right in his hair, right in the comfort of that big mane of his. I could use that. I could hold on like I'm Daenerys Targaryen, and we can just ride through the freaking sky with the wind blowing beneath my face. And then when he does his River of Power, I gotta hold on really, really tight because it's an energy beam. He's blowing up whatever the fuck's in front of me, which is cool as fuck. Another Digimon I want to ride on his back is Ikakumon. He's big, he's white, he's furry, he's adorable. I love Ikakumon, bro. And he shoots freaking horn missiles out of his freaking head. That's so freaking cool. And not only that, when he evolves to Zudomon, I like Zudomon, but I want to ride on Ikakumon's back, and Ikakumon look comfortable. Zudomon, that shit look like it's gonna hurt after a while. My ass gonna hurt after a while sitting on Zudomon back. What else do I want to fly on? I guess that's about it. Why about Bergamon? Bergamon's made of fire. I don't want to be on fire. I'm good. And Garudamon, I don't want Garudamon be carrying Sora, her claws and shit like that. I don't want to sit on nobody's shoulder, bro. I just want to sit on some on our back. I need a back to sit on, not a shoulder. Dang, why did I go through Digimon writing mechanics? Because I dream of riding an all-terrain sea serpent and blowing up enemies that I don't like. Metal Seedramon is so cool. Daenerys had son. But yeah, basically, the RPM Rangers got bodied, and Dr. K, she knew this was gonna come. Because the second she heard that there's an inconceivable amount of Power Rangers in the multiverse, she knew that it was curtains for her team. The statistics alone means that something that they can't prepare for eventually is going to show up. And it happened twice in 2 fucking universes. It happened in the Shattered Grid Redux universe and in this one. Because in the Shattered Grid Redux universe, she bodies, well, Dr. K always gets out alive. The RPM Rangers never make it. Dr. K always gets out alive. Like, the RPM Rangers, they be getting smoked. They got smoked in Shattered Grid Redux and in Power Rangers Ultimate Universe. But Dr. K, she be getting out there unscathed. She be like, yep, I was never there to begin with. I was a data clone the entire time. I'm elsewhere. I love Dr. K as a character. Dr. K was my favorite part of Power Rangers RPM. Her and Vengeance were the only, like I said, I like Go-Onger more, guys. Like, Go-Onger was, like, RPM was, it's alright. Like, I like Dylan as a Black Ranger. He's pretty cool. And Ziggy was a really dope Green Ranger. And Flint, I'm Scottish. The Blue Ranger. Ziggy, Jim and Gemma. I like Gemma when she came back in Ninja Steel more so than I liked her in the original. The original, blue, everything, shoot, destroy the X questions name. And I'm like, And when you watch Go-Onger and you just get to see the unadulterated swagger that is Hiroto and Mew, you look at Jim and Gemma and you be like, why can't you just be Hiroto and Mew? It's the same effect I have with Captain Marvelous. Where I look at Troy and be like, why can't you just be Captain Marvelous? Because sometimes the Sentai just do it so better that I look at the American counterpart and be like, why? But sometimes the American counterpart looks so better that I don't really care about the Sentai counterpart. Not that I don't care, but it's just that I don't necessarily, the comparison doesn't mean a difference. Like, for instance, Andros and the dudes from Mega Red, like, I like both of them. They're both cool. I like the Ginga Man team as well as the Lost Galaxy team. Mighty Morphin? That's Mighty Morphin. They're automatically gonna choose them over Judanger any day, bro. I love Judanger. I love me some Budai and all of those characters, but I grew up. Tommy was the first character I liked before anybody, so that goes there. Even like Shinkeju. I'll be real. Toa saved Samurai because I would have chose Takeru over Jaden any day, but Toa's sheer glazing of Takeru of Jaden Shiba, he called him the Glorious King to the point where I'm like, you know what? Maybe there is something in this Jaden character. I don't know. on paper, all of the points that Toa make about Jaden really be factual, bro. Like, Jaden dead be doing that, but it's because he has Takaru's entire bag. He has Takaru's whole bag. I love Jaden Shiba, but I don't really, like, I like Samurai, but I like Samurai because Toa made me like Samurai. Toa was so funny that I looked at Samurai and be like, okay, Samurai, you're not that bad. The thing about me is, I'm a Gemini. I don't hate things for long. I have seasonal hatred, meaning I'll hate something for a while and then all of a sudden I don't hate it anymore. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Like, I don't hate it anymore. Like, I was watching it, I was enjoying it, and I'd be a liar to say that I hate it right now. Like, I don't hate the show because I like the theme song. I'll be bumping to that shit. I actually listen to the theme song by itself now. I want to wait to challenge myself. Nah, that shit is fire, bro. But yeah, so Kyber they took out the RPM ranges, and he gave the silver and gold morpher to Draken because I want to use the same form that he had Shagrid Redux in Altered. In order for Draken to obtain that form, he needs the RPM powers. So Kyber did that favor for him, and Draken's gonna owe Kyber the favor in the future. Because Draken tried to destroy Kyber when he failed him back then, and Kyber remembers that. Now, the last episode that I posted was the Power Rangers, the Gokaiger special with the 2017 Rangers. Because, like I said earlier, Kimberly, she went to the 2017 universe. And she was the mentor to that team of Power Rangers. She mentored that entire team because, more or less, Zordon died because Rita killed him. Rita killed him in that universe. That universe, Zordon doesn't make it. There's a lot of universe where Zordon just doesn't make it. Zordon dying is like Leomon dying. It happens all the time. Fucking Leomon! Always dying! River of Power! I just remember when I made him say that in the Digimon special. But yeah, so Kimberly was the mentor to that team. And every now and then she goes back to the world to see how they're doing against Rita and any of the other threats. Because eventually they defeated Rita. But a couple of years passed by and new teams of Rangers have sprung, essentially, in that universe. So now there's enough teams for the Galactic Crash Outs to wipe out the Rangers and gain their power, essentially. Because they collected. They're harvesting souls and they're harvesting power. All for a divine goal to bring back Zeus. Because Calypso sealed Zeus away a long time ago, and Zeus want to come back. And there is a different variants of Zeus, but this Zeus wants to be the only Zeus. So the Gokaigers, they attack the Zangek headquarters. And for this fight, I had to think about it this way because I wanted to do something for the Ghost Ages and the Gokaigers, the Mega Force Rangers and the Gokaigers, essentially the Pirate Ray Rangers. And I was just thinking to myself, I don't even have the full team yet because for me it's hard for me to decide who's going to be the new team of Rangers once I already obliterated a team of Rangers, which I don't necessarily mind because I like playing with new team dynamics anyway. So this team started off with the Ghost Ages team started off with a female red, Angia, Ashley as the pink ranger, Chishia as yellow, Noah as blue, and a female Robo Knight. They don't have their black, green, or silver rangers yet, which they will acquire eventually. And the Gokaigers got all their members, plus Rogue Exiles on the battlefield there. Littlefinger's technically a Gokaiger too, like he would be the Gokaiger that transforms into using the villain keys. And if he was in the group with the rest of the Gokaigers, he'd probably transform to a black ranger and Doc would be the green, just to fix that whole green, black aesthetic, because Megaforce Black turning into Gosei green, the Gokai green, that shit got on my fucking nerves real fast. So I wanted to rectify a lot. I just didn't like the Ghost Ages transforming into the Gokaigers. But now that we fixed that, where do we go from here with the Ghost Ages? They kind of need to get their spin back against Zangek, but I want them to be a part of the battlefield, but they're not going to be the reasons why they win. They're not ready yet. They're still green. They still got work to do before they hit that zenith. So the Gokaigers are going to take the center stage there. They're the ones who's going to fight the generals. And I would have had Guy fight a general. I was thinking about having Guy do one. But I needed them. I need to space the episode correctly, and I just didn't have enough room for Doc and Guy to have a general there. I mean, Doc kind of already did. He was kind of shooting that one monster, that Lover Boy monster from Gokaiger, and so he didn't get to have a general fight. Luca got to have one. I think there was there was a scientist that was connected to Luca. I just didn't use that villain. I used another one, like the furry villain and stuff for that general. And him invites himself. It's Zatsu League. It's a tale as old as time. It's you blew up my plan. I want my spin back against you. And I always wanted him to get a lick back against Zatsu League alone. And I felt like she was capable of doing it. She just needed to find a way around his eye. And Dyrando, like, it's literally the other henchman, so we're just gonna give that one to Joe. Even though, like, thematically, Joe fighting Paizo would hit more, but I want to save Watts Guild's forces for later. Him and Vrak. So basically, Rogexio gets to fight 4 villains, 4 enemies, because she's mommy. She gets to fight 4 because it's a power scaling difference. Because Rogexio is literally able to fight gods, and this clone of hers, even though it's a watered down version of her, it's still a version of her. So she has to show out. Period. So she got to eliminate Arceus Skill's brother, because in the Sentai, the Blue Monster, in the movie, he basically came through after Arceus Skill and Watts Skill got defeated. He was the third one that they fought. Rogexio took him out, and Captain Marvelous took out Arceus Skill. Now, all this shit did was make Vakar and Vrak's part of the army afraid to fight the Gokaigas, but antagonize Mayaga's part of the Zangiak Armada. Mayaga is the mother of Vakar and Vrak, and the ex-wife to Emperor Malvo. She has 2 henchmen, Zatsugan, which is a Sharingan Rinnegan variant of Zatsu League. He is Zatsu League's father, and he is part Cthulhu, related. He's related to Mukagen. So yeah, Zatsugan is related to Mukagen, and Gax. Mukagen is the other. He's the Ikagen variant with all the Sharingans and Rinnegan in the trailer, in the season 2 trailer. And by his side is a white version variant. That's Cyclopsis right there. The very same Cyclopsis the Rangers had to deal with, but it's a Cthulhu variant. But more or less, yeah, Zatsugan, Gax, and Empress Mayaga. Now, for context for these characters, I had the idea that Emperor Malvo had a wife somewhere, because how the hell did Watts Guild and freaking Vakar get here? For Zatsugan, I just really like Zatsu League, so I wanted to make another variant of Zatsu League so he could still be in the story somewhat, but not really. And Gax, there was a Namekian in Power Rangers Multiverse that was uber powerful because he absorbed all the Namekians on his planet and stuff like that. This version of Gax is a different take on that idea, but an evil Namekian. Kind of like him being the King Piccolo, but with Piccolo's demeanor. And the reason why is because if it's multiversal, the universes could collide and stuff like that. So alien species can meet up with other alien species from other multiverses, if the multiverse entails a different canon entirely. So the Namekians can meet up with Cthulhuans and Zangiaks and all the other aliens that exist within this multiverse. Now, the last episode, I'm going to go over a couple of things and then I'm going to end it because this is going to be an incredibly long one, guys. The last episode had to do with Decker and him fighting Inkworth, because Inkworth wanted to absorb his power, because Inkworth has a personality of basically a junior Ikagen, but now he doesn't have the power. He keeps on losing the Power Rangers. Ikagen's laughing at that nigga, because Ikagen, like, his track record's way better than Inkworth when it comes to Power Rangers. Truth is, Ikagen just picks his fights really, really carefully. He's actually incredibly intelligent. But Inkworth had to fight all of these Rangers. They had to fight Arya, Sandor, and Antonio, because they work at Calypso's Bar, an interdimensional diner. They work at interdimensional diner that basically travels through dimensions where they have to service different customers. And Inkworth tries to fight Decker, because Decker's been at this diner ever since, and he hasn't been doing no galactic crash out business and stuff like that. Even an evil variant of Decker's been doing that, but what's going on with our variant of Decker? Even if we have this other evil Decker, which is in a previous episode, episode 5, I believe, of when I didn't read. It's the episode when the Akatsuki attack all of the forces of the villains. But basically, yeah, Inkworth fights them, and Decker gets a new Ranger form because Arya has to do the one thing she don't want to do. She got access to Littlefinger for help. Littlefinger has access to all the villain keys. Decker's a villain who just lost his power source, and he needs a new power source to tether him to. So Littlefinger gives him the Decker key, which we see them use in episode 24, and Arya gives Decker the key. But when Decker wears it, he doesn't transform into Decker. He transforms into a Ranger, a Shin-King Red Decker kind of form. And then they defeat Inkworth. They vanquish Inkworth, and Travadis ends up showing up. Travadis is one of the new Cthulhuns that are going to appear in the story in season 2. Travadis is germophobic. He doesn't like other creatures in the galaxy that aren't Cthulhuns and that don't hail from his planet. He's incredibly germophobic, very xenophobic. That's his personality, essentially. Which is why he didn't necessarily want to even fight, because he didn't want to get his hands dirty with the blood of all of these germs. Because he is like that. But at the same time, he's incredibly vicious whenever he does fight, and he doesn't take insults lightly. Imelda is more calm and composed. Imelda is seen destroying the 2017 Rangers save for Billy, which Billy has to escape and get to the next universe, essentially. He has to ask Kimberly for help against Imelda and the Cthulhuns, because Imelda is giving them enough time to mature, and now she's here to collect. And there's several other Cthulhuns. She reports to King Kryptus, which he's the king of the Cthulhuns. Poseidon is their god. At the end of the day, they all answer to Poseidon. But King Kryptus also has a certain amount of power, because each of these Cthulhuns are offshoots of Poseidon. So essentially, they're all the rage of Poseidon, differently personified into different beings. And the next episode is going to be a Yu-Gi-Oh episode. I'm heavily getting into Yu-Gi-Oh right now. I've been marathon Yu-Gi-Oh. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh because I got to get into these characters' heads. Yu-Gi-Oh's a big world. I know about the original, but even with that, I got to go back and watch certain things so I can remember what these characters are like, how they are. And just in general, I like to do my homework when it comes to these things. Like, I got to watch some GX, some 5Ds. I'm watching Zexal too. I'm actually enjoying myself because the theme song is fire. I'm watching Sevens, and I'm actually enjoying myself because the plot and the characters are fire. So yeah, I'm gonna get to Arc 5. I don't think I want to watch Arc 5. I don't think I like Arc 5 because I remember I recently watched Arc 5 not too long ago, and I didn't enjoy it that much. Like, I was good on that. Like Pendulum Summoning, I'm good on that right now. But yeah, in the next video, because I'm gonna milk the episode, it's just like I said, I got to deal with real life stuff and health things and get my situation sorted out there. Plus my birthday's coming up on the 18th, June 18th. Which me and Lucky Vaughn have the same birthday. But yeah, and basically my birthday is coming up on June 18th. And I don't know what type of episode I'm going to make, if I'm even going to make. I'm more likely going to make something. But there'll be an episode long before that, because I've already got 15 minutes of episode 34 already made. Like, I already posted a good fraction of it. I already made the other fraction. I just got to work on the rest of it. And like I said earlier, everything that you've seen in the trailer, in the sneak peek, isn't going to be condensed into one episode. No, it'll be spread out throughout the season, because this is going to be a long one. Because season 1, everything from my first time I posted up until now, it's been at least over 50 episodes. And if you include Shaolin Redux, that makes it about 50 to 60. So now we're on season 2, and I'm going to end it right here. May the power protect you. May your heart be your guiding key. Stay awesome. Stay out of trouble.